Hi, Phil Godwin from Oceanpro here. Now, a tender run from a yacht at anchor to a local port can be a completely different experience at night. So in this video we're going to have a look at a few techniques and considerations you should have to operate a tender safely at night. We'll have a look at how you should plan a route to avoid unlit buoys, how you should make sure your tender is correctly lit, and what equipment you should carry. Then at the end of the video I'll give you a few pointers on how you can develop your skills further. So when we're navigating in coastal waters at night, the background lights from the shore can make it really hard to identify vessel lights and navigation marks. We've got all the street lights that combine, and looking along here, well, is that a small vessel moving along, or is it a car moving along the coast road? And similarly, if we're approaching our yacht back at anchor there, the lights that are showing from the deck lights for the yacht and the underwater lights as well make it all hard to identify things. Perhaps there's a line floating behind the back of the yacht, even a tender on a long line away from the yacht. So we do need to bear all these factors in mind. So if we're going to do a tender run from a yacht at anchor into a local port, then we need to have a strategy to avoid any unlit marks or buoys that are in the way. And just while we're looking at this slide, it's interesting to note that those two yachts at anchor out there stand out quite well against the clear sky in the background. But if we were going to look at them from a different angle, we might see that they sort of blend into these background lights over here. So that's an important factor to note when you're navigating a tender at night. So anyway, there they are on the first slide. There's one of them. That's the one we're going to take the tender run into the local port. And that all looks good to begin with. Nothing in the way, but when we look on the chart, we actually see that there's two unlit yellow marks that are directly on our route. So, well, why don't we just avoid them altogether? Make sure our compass light is working on our boat and make a plan to head directly north until the lights of the port come abeam of us, and then just head directly west. Nice, solid, easy compass headings to use, nice and easy to navigate at night. So if we're going to do a longer tender run at night, we need to do some planning. And here you go, we're going to go from Monaco Harbour around past Fontvieille Harbour, past Cap d'Aille, which is unlit at night. It's quite a dark point with no buildings or anything, so we need to be aware of that one. And then round into Plage Marle, popular little bay for restaurants, etc., where we often have to do tender runs. And well, here you go, we've just drawn a little sketch plan where we show all the headings we're going to take and the distances, and we've made a note of the landmark of the church there, which gives us a reference when we want to turn onto our new heading, and a couple of other things like the hotel that will give us a good indication that should be lit up at night. We've also got the lights of the port for reference if we don't manage to identify anything else on there, but you can see the same things on the chart. The hotel there, got the church spire, and of course for this sort of navigation we definitely want to be using our compass to give us some headings. We've got a 240 shown there, which is pretty much the heading we'd be taking going down on that first leg. Obviously make sure your compass has got a backlight so you can see it at night. So once you've planned your route, then you can then transfer the waypoints onto a chart plotter. A really useful tool because you can then join the waypoints to make a route, and the route can be reversed so you can find your way back to your start point. Just make sure you turn the brightness down at night. So it's really important that your vessel is correctly lit at night. Here we can see a typical yacht tender, less than 12 meters, so it's got an all-round white light that's combined. It's really important that that's actually fitted. Some yachts have a pole or sort of arrangement so that it can have a low profile to go inside a tender garage. Make sure the white light is in. So here we've got an example of where a vessel is over 12 meters, so it's steaming light and stern light, two separate lights. And you can see the way the lights give you a clear indication of which way the vessel is heading. So here we can see a tender that's correctly lit with its side lights, and it's all around 360 steaming light and stern light combined. As it turns away from us, we can still see it and we know which way it's traveling. We can still clearly see the stern aspect, just the white light. Now, if you compare that to one that doesn't have the white light, you can see as the vessel turns away from us, we can see its red light at the moment for its port side. As it turns away from us, it starts to disappear. In fact, the only thing we're seeing is its instrument lights. So it's really important to fit that white light. Now, this smaller tender is correctly lit at the moment because it's less than 7 meters and traveling at less than 7 knots, so it can just have its white light. However, once it goes over 7 knots, then it should have the port and starboard red and green side lights as well. Now, it's really important to make sure you're properly equipped. The gas inflation life jacket is vitally important. These can be manually operated or water activated, and also have a water activated light. We've also got the valuable addition of reflective strips and a whistle to attract attention to yourself. Now, you should also do some checks on your tender. Your tender shouldn't start in gear, so make sure that's functioning correctly. And once the engine's running, your kill cord should function, so do regular checks on that as well. Another thing that's really important is to have a searchlight or a flashlight that you can easily use or easily find at night. It's no good having it tucked away in a bag that's under a seat which somebody's sitting on. Quite a good idea is to have one on a belt loop, the sort of thing you might see a police officer carrying. So a good way to make sure you're safe to operate a tender at night is to do some training. Onboard training is great because you get to know your tender, where the equipment is, how to operate things like the Yacht plotter if it's got one. This could be a formalized training session, or you could just tag along with someone doing a night tender run and observe what they're doing and ask some questions. If you get yourself some flip cards or download an app, there's some great ones now for mobile phones. We were using one earlier in this video to show you the different tenders, the lights that they show. They're a great way to just keep brushing up your skills. And then you can sort of combine that with observing lights, either from your yacht or from the shore. You can get to the harbour entrance and check out what boats look like from different angles. And, perhaps a tender's coming into the port. You can see how the effect of the lights changing as it changes direction. We'd love to see you on one of our ROA tender operator courses. That one's specifically designed at the yachting industry, taking passengers from ship to shore, particularly at night. Or the ROA Advanced Powerboat course, well, that's a bit more in depth, a bit more coastal navigation, a bit more planning involved and using more advanced techniques. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions about anything we've covered today, please use the comments box below. We've got a video suggestion for you here to carry on viewing, and if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, you'll get all the latest updates on the videos we're producing about boating in the south of France. Thanks very much.